to Undoing Damage Commentaries. I'm your host, Gamer Chris, and today we're going to be looking at Hilary Goldstien's Sonic Unleashed review. Now, if you don't remember this was notorious as a bad review. This had a huge controversy. It was really bad. So bad, it got the reviewer fired. And people might be asking, why are you making this if this happened 2 years ago? Well, this is the only way how I feel I can get over the review that happened. So, without further ado, here's the shitty review.
There's one thing you should know about Sonic Unleashed before spending your hard-earned money on it. It's a big piece of garbage. Big piece of garbage.
Alright, you got a pretty good Sonic. Wait, what? A piece of garbage? Oh my god.
That should probably be enough to warn off anybody who's thinking about playing it, but I guess we should talk a little bit more about it, just in case you like to hear this tortured sound of my voice.
This is pretty much what you're saying. You're butchering a good game, so I just want to see you actually review it. Please actually explain yourself.
Indeed, it's games like this that make reviewers rethink their lives.
So what are you saying? You're a Genesis fan or something?
Now, I have a theory when it comes to Sonic games. Someone at Sega hates the Hedgehog with all his might, and he's going about trying to sabotage the franchise with these awful games.
The Sonic games before this, ever since 2005 with Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic Riders, the games have been terrible for Sonic. Aside from Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure, but you know what I mean. It was really a bad time for Sonic, and Sonic Unleashed was a baby step forward to showing that he's back.
This is the only explanation that makes any sense to me. Pretty much every decision made for this game was the wrong one, and Sonic ends up taking more beating than a piñata because of it. The gameplay in Sonic Unleashed is split up into 3 equal parts. There are daytime stages which are actually very good.
Agreed.
There are nighttime stages which are actually complete rubbish.
The nighttime stages in 360 and PS3 versions of the game were actually not that bad. The platforming kind of reminded me of the Prince of Persia remake on the Xbox 360, and you know, it was really good. If anything, the Wii ones weren't the greatest.
And then there's also the hub city where you do a lot of exploration stuff, and that's boring as can be.
It's a throwback to Sonic Adventure, so what the hell are you talking about?
Now, the daytime stages are actually pretty fun. It's fast platforming that is mostly on rails, and for a brief moment you might actually think to yourself, wow, this is what a current-gen Sonic game should be. Of course, your hopes will be brutally dashed later on, but never mind that for now. The daytime sections aren't perfect by any means. The jump button can be fatally unresponsive at times, and it's just a lot of trial and error gameplay that can get a little bit repetitive after a while.
Dude, that's weak. You fell off that cliff on purpose just to make your point look realistic, when that's even false to begin with. When I actually got the version, I was just pressing the A button a lot, and it works perfectly fine, so I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about.
You know, if the game was just 3 hours and only contained these daytime sections, it wouldn't be such a bad thing, and actually, it'd be a pretty good game.
The problem with that argument is that it's already a really good game, so what are you talking about?
You know, I can even overlook the stupid airplane part that they stuck in, which is a rail shooter where you don't actually really get to shoot guns.
This is the only problem I had with the Sonic Unleashed version for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. The biggest thing with this airplane level was that a lot of things come up off screen and you have little time to react. That is a legitimate complaint about the game.
But see, the problem is the sun goes down. And what happens when the sun goes down? Well, of course, Sonic turns into a werewolf. Oh, excuse me, Werehog, if you want to use the official terminology. Now, the reasons why he does this as well, it's not really worth getting into. However, you should know that the game changes completely. Gone is the speed of Sonic, replaced by a bunch of boring, brawling sections. The frame rate's bad, the camera's bad, and the fighting stuff is just tedious and terrible.
Yes, the frame rate is choppy on the PS3 version, but on the 360 version, it's not as bad. But with all seriousness, the Werehog levels aren't that bad. They're not, like, terrible like you say it is. The Werehog levels, to me, are good. They're decent, actually. The only thing I could complain about for, like, the Wii version or something is that it is long. Like, the Wii version, you have to play 4 of them in a row, and they're 30 minutes each, so it's a long time to play Werehog levels.
As a Werehog, you go around beating the crap out of stuff and performing a bunch of really bad platforming sections.
The platforming is like Prince of Persia, and IGN gave that game a 9.5, so what the F.
Oh yeah, and you have stretchy arms, because, you know, everybody knows that werewolves have stretchy arms.
And hedgehogs can run at the speed of sound, because of course, all hedgehogs can run at the speed of sound. That's pretty much what you just said. It sounds retarded. Like, it doesn't make any bit of sense at all. So, what the hell was with that comment? It doesn't make sense.
Even worse is that these stages drag on for like a half hour each.
Is that so? Well, I beat him in average 8 minutes. You probably suck at the game.
There's no excuse to extend the pain this much, especially since the fun daytime levels only last 4 or 5 minutes. Sonic the Werehog makes Biggs the Cat look like an endearing character. Yeah, it's that bad.
Of course, as we all know, a retarded cat is more endearing than a badass character that slashes through shit.
Even if there were just those two kinds of levels, this game wouldn't be that bad. Sure, you'd have to endure the horrible nighttime levels, but you'd always know that the daytime was coming soon enough and you'd get to enjoy those. However, Team Sonic didn't want to let any slip-up happen. They had to make this game bad.
First off, it's called Sonic Team, not Team Sonic, you idiots. And furthermore, it's not a bad game, like I said before. It's actually really good. If I had to rate the 360 version, I'd give it at least an 8.5. It's really good.
So how do you make it worse? Well, first, you add completely unnecessary RPG elements. You gain XP for every bad guy you kill, and then you can spend this XP to increase things like Sonic's speed or your Werehog's moveset. It's not so terrible, but it does seem unnecessary. I mean, really, do I need to pay to upgrade Sonic's speed? Shouldn't Sonic be as fast as he can be from the get-go? Isn't that the reason why I bought a Sonic game in the first place?
Sonic is at his max potential at the beginning of the game for speed, and you further upgrade that while you're playing the game. So by you saying that comment, it just doesn't make any sense. I just justified it.
But that's not all. I've saved the best for last. Convinced that Sonic fans don't just want to run really fast and have fun, there are hub worlds. These terrible, terrible hub worlds are where you aimlessly walk around, talk to people for no reason, and collect coins to get to the next level.
You know, some of these people actually give you missions and abilities or things like that. So by you saying that they're pointless is just stupid, and obviously you didn't play enough of the game to understand what they're there for.
Oh, and you can cleanse people's souls by taking pictures of them. I'm not even joking about that.
Again, for you, it's probably play first, read later. The reason why you take a picture of them is because it's a flash of light. Gaia can't stand light, so that unleashes it. So there you go. It makes sense.
These hubs are a giant waste of time that only serve to annoy the player. And once again, it's just more gameplay that's keeping you away from the one part of Sonic that's fun, and that's the daytime levels. Sonic Unleashed is a classic example of what happens when a good idea isn't left alone. There's just too much fussing that's been done to this once good formula. It's kind of like having a group of 5-year-olds come up with ideas after giving them a bowl full of sugar. Sure, there are fun parts buried inside, but don't subject yourself to the pain. But the best thing I can say about Sonic Unleashed is that it does at least make the old Sonic the Hedgehog games look a whole lot better. I guess that's something.
I don't understand. You are pretty much making yourself look like an idiot here. You're dictating this game by looking at the Genesis game, saying that they're a lot better. Well, I don't know how to say this, but it's kind of weird, but you gotta take in consideration, this is modern. You can't look at the older games and expect it to be exactly like it. It can't happen. They're not like that anymore.
For the full written review, head on over to IGN.com.
Alright, so I'm just gonna give you a little throwback. Sonic the Hedgehog in 2006 was a terrible game. Everybody can agree to it. It got a 4.8 on IGN, and I think, you know, that's okay, but I think it should have been lower, even lower than 4.8. It was a bad game. Honestly, that thing deserved a 1, for all I care. And Sonic Unleashed, an amazing game, gets a lower score than that. It gets a 4.5. How does that make any sense? This game is so much better than Sonic 06. I know it's separate reviewers, but still, at least rate it higher than Sonic 06, because that game was freaking terrible. This is a huge improvement over Sonic 06, but no, it has to be a big piece of garbage and give it a 4.5 instead. You know, Hilary Goldstien is really stupid by making this review make the game look bad and gets fired over it, so it's just not worth the time for him. I'm Gamer Chris. The damage of this video has been undone.